What's up, guys? It is I, the autistic guy. Anyway, today's message is going to be to our closest ally, literally, Canadians, regarding Donald Trump. Now, anybody can listen to this video, but I'm going to talk specifically to the Canadian people, Canadians. I've never been to Canada. I'd love to go someday. But our relationship hasn't always been the best. It's been very good and broken out into outright war on occasions. Like it happened during the Revolution and in the War of 1812. Now, I know Canadians will like to say, oh, we kicked your ass and all that stuff, eh? But anyway, that's not exactly what happened. The British regulars beat the Americans back. And that, like in the War of 1812, for example, there were 10 British regulars for every Canadian militiaman. However, it's one of those inconvenient facts of history that kind of rains on your parade, kind of like the fact that most of the Loyalists, Tories, Redcoats, Kingsmen, a lot of them were actually Americans. And and a lot of them ended up settling in Canada after the Revolution was over. They also went to Britain and blah 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 blah. Anyway, it seems that for the past 100 years, we've had a pretty good relationship. Our countries have fought together on numerous occasions in World War One, World War Two, Korea. Not only that, we fought in Desert Storm together. Canada also assisted the U.S. in Afghanistan. However, our relationship has probably been the worst it has been in about 100 years because of one man, and his name is, of course, Donald John Trump. And Canada is a free country. The United States is not anymore. We are fighting for our freedom, but I am really sorry about this, And as far as the trade war goes, it's like, as Justin Trudeau said, our government has chosen to do this to us Americans, i.e. Donald Trump. And I don't blame you for not wanting to come to America right now. I don't blame you for imposing retaliatory tariffs. It's cool, you gotta protect your economy, and I don't blame you for boycotting the United States. However, the thing is my advice to Canadians is don't ever say it couldn't happen in Canada, because we live in a world where anything is possible. And as far as Donald Trump invading Canada, well, I am fairly confident that the U.S. would wipe out Canada's military pretty quickly. However, that does not mean the war is over. And could a Canadian insurgency repel America? Absolutely. It's happened consistently. I mean, the Viet Cong and the Taliban managed to beat the U.S. back. The Afghans, Mujahideen, beat the Soviet Union back. Hezbollah managed to kick Israel out of Lebanon. The French in Algeria, the French in Vietnam, they both lost to insurgents. And so we have insurgents beating professional militaries pretty consistently after World War II. Anyway, it would be very ugly for both of us, because Canada is right on the United States border. Insurgents could come in willy-nilly and cause no end of havoc. And the U.S., of course, has enough firepower to turn pretty much any city in the world into a smoldering husk. Now, but what's crazy is that Trump is now offering to give Alaska to Putin. He even thinks that Alaska is part of Russia for some reason. He's very stupid and he's got dementia, but that's really surprising. That being said, I don't think Canada and the US will actually go to war. I think that's very unlikely. What is more likely to happen is that the US will enter a civil war. And will that affect Canada? Oh yeah. But I don't think that there will be an invasion of Canada. I think a civil war in the US is way more likely. That being said, we need to stop thinking about this as, Canadians versus Americans. We need to think about this as freedom versus fascism. And to the people in Canadian cities who show up to protest against Trump, I say thanks for the help. It really encourages me. And what's really sad is that when I listened to Justin Trudeau's speech directly to the American people, I thought, damn, that man cares more about us than our own politicians. It was just a really, really sad thing. Anyway, an American invasion of Canada or a second American Civil War are not even the worst case scenarios. We must remember that this guy, this crazy, demented narcissist with dementia and health problems, and probably not too much longer on this earth, has access to the world's second biggest nuclear arsenal. And he can destroy the world at any time for any reason. He does not need approval from Congress. He does not need approval from the Joint Chiefs of Staff or the Secretary of Defense. He can do it like that. And that, to me, is the most alarming thing of all. Is that the whole world could be destroyed. Anyway, I hope that the American and Canadian relations can improve one day, and I hope we'll come back stronger once this is all over. But for now, I really hope that the U.S. can get through this tough time and rejoin the good guys. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Be good, y'all. Peace.